happy vibes, my friends. Welcome back to my podcast, Vibes by Alicia, where I believe in spreading killer vibes that light you up and give you that kick in the ass to craft the life you wish to live. This sacred space is dedicated to the lovers of all things business, travel, and lifestyle. Hey, it's about time you get the scoop on the latest vibes, so let's get to it. Y'all, I'm super really interested in sharing this next guest for today because her business is very unique. It was created from a need that she saw. And, for me, it's about bringing entrepreneurs and bringing people who can share little pieces of wisdom and advice to our lady business owners as we all try to grow, whether it's our business, whether it's our podcast, our projects, and all of that. So let me start by saying welcome, Janine.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes, I'm so excited to have you and just what you have to share with our audience. So Janenne Dorsey graduated from the University of New Orleans with a bachelor's degree in registered nursing. And with over 20 years in the healthcare and phlebotomy industry, she's the founder and CEO of Finest Blood, LLC. Janenne Dorsey, you saw a need for exceptional care in laboratory, and you decided to do something about it.
Yes.
I love that. So how long have you been in healthcare, Janenne?
I've been in healthcare since it all started in 2001.
Okay.
I took a trade in dialysis, and it just took off from there.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So I went from dialysis in New Orleans. I'm born and raised in New Orleans.
I can hear that accent now that it's coming out.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
I love it.
I did that for up until we left.
Okay.
Due to the hurricane. So after 2005, we moved to Houston, and we've been here ever since.
Wow.
And of course, it was some shift in careers and family, just getting everything back into play. But I was able to just jump right back into what I love doing, and I've been in the healthcare industry ever since.
So you knew this, you wanted to do this since you were young?
I did.
Your whole life?
I did.
Wow.
I did. At first, I thought, like, do I want to get into healthcare?
Mm-hmm.
Do I want to give that much of myself to someone? Can I? So
Yes.
that was like, can I? So, but I seen the need. I fit the need. And I'm still growing.
Yeah, and it's not just physical. It's
Yeah,
a mental
it is.
career, correct?
It is.
Especially now, I'm thinking.
Yes, you definitely have to be mentally prepared for what's next. What's going on today? How will we know what's going to be and what's next? But just dealing with everything one day at a time. We have to be mentally prepared, mentally strong.
Yeah, and I think that's one of those things that I see a lot of people leaving the career because it just has become so overwhelming and just so intense. And unfortunately, with COVID and all the things with the pandemic, it just brings on an extra added stress to the industry already, right?
Yes, because it's so overwhelmed right now. Our healthcare system is so overwhelmed. But you just take one day at a time.
We had an episode last season. The last episode was on the sandwich generation.
Okay.
So basically the people that take care of our parents and we have our kids. So we're kind of in the middle. We're the sandwich in the middle, like the bologna of the sandwich. Because on one side, we're taking care of our parents.
Yes.
And on the other side, we're taking care of our kids. Like we're in the middle. And we, our responsibilities just grow exponentially, trying to take care of their needs. And especially with aging parents, there's just so much medical care that they require. Planning, you taking them to appointments. Like my mother is the example that I use all the time because she's pre-diabetic. She has cirrhosis of the liver. So we're always having to get her blood work. We're checking her ammonia levels. We're checking a lot of those things. And I still have kids and a husband and a family and a business. So I want to talk to you a little bit about that because I know for sure, and that's something that kind of led you to where you are now, is you were taking care of your father. So tell me a little bit about that story.
Yes, my father became disabled when I was 8 years old. So that led me to become a nurse at an early age.
Okay.
Become a caretaker at an early age, but that was fine. We just kept the ball rolling. So we just used our resources that we had.
Okay.
And to just move forward with the family.
Right.
Because he was the head of the family. So we just my mom had to pick up the pieces. And we just had to get in, jump in where we seen the need, and just move forward.
What was he sick from?
He had glaucoma. So he started out with glaucoma, so he lost his eyesight.
Wow.
And then he became disabled. And at that time, in the middle of us dealing with that, somehow he got hit by a drunk driver.
Oh my goodness.
So that led him being more disabled. So he
Right.
just was total disabled at that point. So he is legally blind now, but he still functions every day like like you and I. Of course, you know, guys, they want to do it themselves. They want to still feel like they can do everything. So he still does everything. He can wash dishes. He'll try to cook, but you cannot cook. So but he's doing well. Yes.
So you're pretty close to him?
I am. He doesn't live here in Houston. He lives in Plano.
Okay.
Yes. With my older sister.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
So that kind of led you to, did that lead you to the healthcare industry and to take care of people?
Yes.
Because you saw how important it was to have somebody kind of come in and take care of your father in that sense, or your mother, or you.
Yeah. Yep. It did. Because at first I didn't think I was going to go into the healthcare industry as in depth as I was. I thought I was going to do the trade because I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I went to nursing school. So you try to figure things out. So you stop and you go and you go and you stop. So I completed everything. And I worked for in the corporate world for a while. Then I decided, hey, I just want to try this on my own.
Yeah.
I just want to see what this is all about.
All right. So that's going to lead me to the next question that I had for you because, the way that I met you was through Shavana, through Snr Creative.
Yes.
And I know that she does your marketing and she helps you with a lot of that. And she mentioned how, your story was very impactful and it was very different because the way that you've now, shifted, I guess, from the healthcare that you've done, you do a mobile healthcare now. So tell me about that and tell me why you think that trend is important. And for you, it's been, what you've wanted to do.
Yeah. For the mobile part, I decided on mobile first because it seemed like the need was there. It was just so urgent. And like going back to my dad, it's tough to try to get to the doctor's appointments. And then especially the lab part. Nobody wants to go to the lab, so bringing somebody.
That's the worst part.
It is.
My mom cries when she has to go get lab work
know.
because they poke her and they poke her so much, and she just. I have to hold her hand and like beg the nurse to be gentle with her.
And it's so tough because when you get to the lab, you've already passed your doctor's appointment. So at this point, we're trying to determine what's going on with me. So when we see you at the lab, you're not in the best mood. Right. So we try to. Treat our patients, treat our clients like you're not just a piece of paper, you're not just a number. We're handling you with care because this patient will come back. They'll have recurrent standing orders. I will see Miss Jones again. So we try to handle it with finest care as much as we can. And that's how I decided to do the mobile business model, just thinking, who would benefit from this? And just the person that's best to benefit, they're right here in my house. It started right at home.
And, you mentioned the word finest, and that's part of your business name, Finest Blood, because you do really want to provide the finest care.
Yes, finest. And I got the name. My son actually came up with that
Oh,
name.
really? How old is your son?
He's 18.
Oh, I have an 18-year-old too.
Really?
I sure do, yeah.
Yes, he came up with the name, and that just brought, what I want to do in this. It's not just blood work. It's not just a urine drug screen. So we have different sectors, and we have a wellness unit as well. So just me coming in to take your blood pressure, take your finger prick to see where you're at with your cholesterol level, or even your iron. That's important that you can get right now, right here and right now.
That's so important. Yeah, that's great. That's an interesting story. So your kids, I'm assuming they've seen your trajectory. They've seen you grow as a healthcare provider.
Yes.
Yeah. What do they think about you as a business owner now?
I have a 9-year-old also, so everything blows his mind.
Are they 2 boys?
2 boys.
I do too. Oh my God, yeah, 18 and 13, yeah.
So I have 18 and 9. So my 9-year-old, he's blown away about being your arm boss. Or, oh my, nobody tells you what to do. So you know that. And then my son, he seeing me grow. So I did mobile. I come home and say a bunch of stories to them. So they hear the good, they hear the bad, they hear the sad, they hear the happy. So they see me grow. And then now that we have in-house also, so we have an in-house laboratory.
Okay, so
you
tell
can
me
come
about
to
that.
us.
Oh.
Yeah, you can come to us.
Is it a brick and mortar?
It's a brick and mortar.
Oh my
We're in
gosh.
Spring. Yes.
So awesome.
So they seen me go from going out to someone's house every day to people coming to us. But we still have the mobile unit because we're still dealing with the pandemic, and it's still very relevant to need mobile services because most people don't want to go outside too much and be exposed. And that's why at first I thought I was going to go away from the mobile model, but I think the mobile model is where we at right now. And it's a need.
And so did you find that because of the pandemic, it just became even more evident to you?
Yes.
That you should definitely keep mobile.
Yeah,
people don't want to leave, especially older people. They don't want to leave their house.
And it's so
they're
fragile.
Fearful and they're fragile.
Yes, they're very fearful. And they couldn't wait to get some type of relief. So when the vaccines came out, it took a little bit of pressure off of them because I see some of the my standing orders that I have for my mobile. They are so excited when they knew that relief was coming, that they have the chance to get this vaccine and maybe can go outside and see people other than who live in their houses. You know, they like to have lunch and dinner with their family and friends. They don't travel as much, but they're just excited that they see some relief is on the way.
Wow. And I think we really don't think about those little things that we take for granted, and we think, we're okay, we'll survive. But there's older people out there that just can't, and they're fragile, they're sick, they can't move. So having a service like yours or having somebody that can come in and provide that care for them in their own home just makes a huge difference, I think, especially like now that I think about my own mother.
Yes.
She doesn't want to go into a clinic because she just doesn't like the feeling of a clinic. She doesn't. It gives her anxiety.
Yeah, it does.
So,
I think it's that white coat.
Yeah. It's just the think of a hospital too, right?
Something so hospital-y. It just gets them so apprehensive.
I love that story, though. That's just an important little thing to do. So in your process of becoming a business owner, what is one thing that you've looked at and thought, wow, I wish I would have done that before?
Maybe starting sooner.
Starting sooner, okay. Why do you feel like you started so late? Or not so late, but why did you feel like maybe you didn't start when you wanted to start?
I didn't think about it until some things shift at work. So at work, some things shift. They got rid of, they changed the business model where I was working at the time. So when they changed, I had to adapt to the change and think about what I was going to do moving forward.
Okay.
Because that job didn't seem promising.
Right. Okay.
So I had to.
So it was like a moment for you of like.
Yeah, that it's like a light bulb went off. Like I think you can do this, and I did probably research for about a year working, and did research of how to start this mobile phlebotomy business for probably about a year. I probably worked on it for a year, so it takes some time because I wanted to roll out, and it's so critical. So I can't just show up at someone's house drawing blood. So I had to know all the violations, all the policies, procedures in place, make sure I'm not violating any HIPAA violations, make sure I'm compliant as a mobile unit.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so it took some time.
So there is a process, and you have to research.
You do, yes.
And anybody who wants to have a business has to really put in the time.
They do.
Beforehand.
They do, yeah. So you make sure that you set up structurally the right way, financially the right way, because you can put in a lot of money and don't see a return on investment, but that's okay for a new business owner. You won't see a big business boom, especially after doing it during the pandemic. You can either take a nosedive or it can boom for you.
Wow. So what did it do for you?
It actually plateaued. It stayed the same. And in this industry, which is the lab industry, healthcare period, it's up and down. We can have our high peak periods, and then we can have our lows and valley periods. I noticed like around this time of the year is the peak period. It's high because everyone is getting in to meet their insurance deductibles.
Oh, okay. Tell me about that. What is this? Is it the end of the year?
In the year.
Oh,
so
okay.
everyone's trying to get in to get to meet their deductibles. They're trying to get everything done, their physicals for the year, trying to get all their appointments in because the holidays come up, when the physician's out, everyone's out.
Yeah.
And that's like in the summer. In the summer, we're kind of slower. So that gives you some time to sit back and do your financials, do all your paperwork, catch up on emails, phone calls with family because you have to have a balance. So you have more family time because in the healthcare industry, in the summertime, it is slower because the physicians are out. So no one's in the office as much. They're rotating physicians and NPs. So, yeah, it has its peaks and valleys, but it's very rewarding.
Yeah, I can imagine. Do you conduct COVID tests as well?
We do.
You do?
Yes.
Oh, my gosh, that's fantastic because so many people who want to travel have to have a COVID test before traveling.
They have to have that COVID test or their vaccine.
Vibes by Alicia Season 5 is sponsored by Snr Creative. Are you putting your money towards visibility but not seeing any change or business growth? Well, that is the problem. Snr Creative is a boutique marketing and business development firm in Houston that specializes in turning your ideas into reality in the most creative way possible. From social media management to website development, graphic design to event management, this full-service creative team does it all. The world can't go on without your services, so let's make sure everybody knows your name. You're either fascinating or forgotten. What will you choose? Get ahead and above the competition by contacting SNR Creative with the link in my bio. Mention Vibes by Alicia and receive a free business consultation. Vibes by Alicia Season 5 is sponsored by SheSpace. Hey you! Yes you! Badass hardworking boss. If you're tired of cliche spaces, of the regular and unimpressive, you want to add a little bit of spice to the shared co-working experience, I have just the place. SheSpace is the hub for bold women. It's the queen's throne away from home. I firmly believe in the proximity principle, which refers to the intention of surrounding yourself with the people who embody your ambitions to achieve them. Find that proximity and experience the dream job life here at SheSpace. With membership, you'll have access to a multitude of amenities, a robust calendar of events, and overall a group of like-minded women. So what are you waiting for? Come and see us at SheSpace. Vibes by Alicia Season 5 is sponsored by Finest Blood. Finest Blood provides patients and partners in clinics with service at its finest. Avoid mixed diagnoses in unprecedented times and commit to laboratory services in the finest way. Whether you are participating in mobile or in-lab services, we will provide you with the finest care and make sure your satisfaction is met. No more waiting long hours in clinics. No more waiting long hours for results. No more leaving the comfort of your own home, if that's what you choose. At Finest Blood, our system is designed to alleviate the challenges of accessibility and timeliness of lab work while providing exceptional customer care. We provide you with the best care in anything that we do. Come and see us or follow us at finestbloodllc.com. Okay, let me ask you about the vaccine. Do you give those vaccines or
not yet? No, we're trying to set up an account because we see that there may be wanting that booster.
Yes.
So, and we're going to be dealing with COVID for a while.
Right,
so we do the COVID testing, but not the vaccines just yet. But we're going to be moving into that sector really soon.
Okay, I think that's the greatest thing because, again, we have to think about those people, or especially I'm thinking about older people who don't want to go in and do any testing or the vaccine. Like they would go and roll in, and get the vaccine that way. And that's how my parents got theirs. And that's how I went into HEB and got mine. But I think the idea of having that ability to just walk into someone, or maybe you coming to their house and giving them that booster. So Janine, let me ask you this question because it's just been such a lightning rod in the news. The vaccine. Why has it become such a controversial thing, and people are now not even trusting healthcare providers or doctors are getting threats.
Yeah.
Don't tell me what to do.
Yeah,
Or
like I control my life. It's
what is-
mind-boggling, and I don't think
yes.
anybody has the answer to that question because
Well, how do
I
you
the
address it, or how do you comfort somebody who's
yeah,
maybe, you know,
I would say it's for the greater good, for you, for who
okay.
you're around.
Hmm.
If you have a parent that's it for yourself, let's start off for yourself. You're immunosuppressed. Of course, they should have been in the first group, which I think they were.
Yeah.
But they may have some that was resistant to it, and I think because they probably didn't see for themselves enough studies or enough
Right.
clinical trials have been done, or that it's like when people see they feel like they have enough information, but that they did not see active clinical trials happening, and they're testing this, they're testing, and it came out such a short time, so they may be not trusting
Gotcha.
the vaccine. Not so much that they're not trusting the healthcare; it's just the vaccine itself, and it's already a lot of people are adverse to getting the flu shot.
Right.
Because they say it makes me sick or I never get the flu.
Okay.
But if you are around someone that's sick and you're unvaccinated, you can make them become sick as well.
Right.
Still.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So you put it in a community point of view. You're helping each other. You're helping the society, community. All of us are in it
Yes.
together in that kind of sense. And you're right. I mean, they do say, well, I don't know what's in the vaccine, but a lot of these people are taking other things that they don't know what's inside. So
Yeah.
that's certainly not an excuse.
I don't know what, and I think when they see that some that's fully vaccinated can still get the virus, I think that's when they come in. Oh well,
Well, they still got sick.
Yeah. So they still got sick. So what's the point of getting a vaccine if I'm gonna still be sick? So I think some people think like that, but you can still get the flu and have the flu shot.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And you, as a nurse, as somebody in the healthcare industry, do you ever just get so disappointed in humanity that you're like, I just can't go back and do this anymore? I'm not even in the healthcare, but I read the news and I'm like, oh gosh, what is this world turning into?
Yeah, I sit and I just think like, what are they thinking about? Why? What are you doing?
Well, there's a lot of misinformation out there
It
too.
is.
So it's kind of your job in a way when you meet your patients to educate them.
It is. Yeah. So I try to as much as possible. They always come with a lot of questions, more than I probably have time to answer. But I try to make them comfortable and let them know, hey, trust what your physician is, the information that your physician is giving to you. He won't harm you.
Yeah.
They won't give you any don't read everything online. That's what a miscommunication come in. And they Google everything.
Facebook, I think, has been the worst.
It's so much misinformation out there. And with Facebook, you can share and share and share and share.
And share a lot of wrong information.
Lot of wrong information. Yes. Yep.
Gosh. I wanted to ask you that question because it's something that, even when you are in the healthcare industry, how do you keep going?
Yeah,
when you're
it's
like,
tough.
gosh.
It's tough, but you just have to be mentally strong and you're doing it for the greater good and just keep it pushing.
Awesome. So I have a few young ladies that I've mentored before and that have expressed to me that they want to become nurses. What is one piece of advice that you feel like would be helpful to them as they're in college right now? One of them is at A&M and the other one is at U of H.
Okay.
So what could be something that you can advise them to do?
Just stay focused.
Okay.
If they are they in the nursing program or they just
Are.
aspiring?
Yeah, they're in the nursing
focused.
program.
Yeah, stay focused. Definitely stay focused. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of reading. It's a lot of writing and study to know. Don't study to just remember your test. To remember that A, B, C, D, E. Study to know it because you're going to use it down the line.
Got it. And I think it's good because so many of them are going in with their heart and they're idealistic, and then they realize, the reality of things. But don't give up on the dream. It's a beautiful, vocation to have.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Don't give up. I did and went back and stopped and went back, and that's fine. Just keep going.
I love that. Thank you for that. And let me ask you about some of the services that you offer, because I was actually quite interested in, you do genetic testing as well. Tell me about that.
Yep, we do DNA testing, and we do gender
DNA.
determination tests.
All right. Who's asking for the gender determination? I mean,
Pregnant mothers.
Yeah, pregnant mothers. Yeah, but like, why? And I mean, besides going to the doctor and like having it done there.
You know why? Because you can know the sex of your baby at 7 weeks.
Oh, really?
And it's guaranteed, and it's like a 99%.
Is it a blood test?
It is. It's one simple tube, send out, and you will know your result in 24 hours. And I haven't heard any bad things since I've been running those tests. Yes, and we have a partnership with Sneak Peek that does those.
I was wondering because I figured, well, they'll wait, they're 20 weeks or 18 weeks when their doctor does the ultrasound. Yeah, that's what I'm like, well, how is she doing those? That's really interesting. Yes. It's medicine and the science, huh?
The science, yes. And some doctors, they're not with it yet, but it's up to the mother if she wants to do
and
it.
is
that's
it
fine.
Pretty accurate? What are the percentages? Yeah, 99. Wow.
And they just went up a notch to 99. So that's that's so impressive.
Awesome. And so let me ask you about the genetic testing because I did one like with the Ancestry.com with the saliva. Is that similar to that or is this something different?
That's a genetic test for your genetics and ancestry.
Yes.
So it's still DNA.
Okay.
But it's a different way we collect your information. Okay. Yeah, so the gender determination is a blood test, and the DNA genetics is a saliva swab.
Yeah.
That will swab your cheek and send it out to the laboratory.
And is that what, to determine like the father of a baby or what kind of thing?
It's paternity.
Paternity.
It's your DNA. Okay. And it's like you find your ancestries, and you can even have your grandparent come in, and it will tell you a whole tree of, it can skip our generation and go down to like our kids, and we can it's so much you can tell in DNA.
Wow.
Yes, and now it's so interesting to read about stuff like that.
And they're finding serial killers through DNA.
Yes.
Yes, which is very interesting because I do listen to true crime podcasts. I love those true crime podcasts, and I'm like listening to it sometimes, and I think, wow, why didn't they find somebody? But 30, 40 years later, they kind of like delineate one DNA swab or whatever. They take some DNA from somebody, and then they send it off, and then there's a brother or maybe there's a cousin or somebody that's related to that person, and then that person, and then they go straight to the...
And that's how you get your crime person.
Yes.
And that's how you can find your ancestors.
Yes.
Same.
Right, and it's just amazing because not only are they taking the DNA and testing it out that way, but they're catching criminals.
They are. So if you put your hand on that doorknob, your DNA is on there.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, science is just so amazing.
I love it.
So you also do urine drug screenings.
Yes.
And what are those mostly for companies or corporations or people as well?
So it can be for various things. It can be for pre-employment mostly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for pre-employment.
Okay.
And the DOT, Department of Transportation, use that, like the Coast Guards, all of the military, all of any federally regulated entities. And it also can be for court.
Oh.
For probation, and pain management is big on knowing, like, if your client is requesting a certain type of medication, and it seems like we're just keep giving this prescription. Well, hey, let's do a test to see if you're actually taking your meds like you're supposed to. So that's a good way to help a patient know that they're taking too much of their medicine or not at all. So, and to control those over-the-counter pharmacies as well.
Yeah. That's very interesting. So you serve, for example, corporate, oil and gas industry, med spas?
Yeah.
I was going to ask you about med spas because I know there's this thing where they come and like give you...
Draw your blood.
No, IVs. Like, like detoxing IVs, energy IVs, B12.
Yep, that's it.
Are you incorporating any of that? Because I would be I want to know about that.
That's coming down the line. And I get a lot of requests for that, so I guess I'm going to speed that up.
So this is what I would want you to do, because this is something that affects me a lot.
Okay.
I travel so much. I become very dehydrated over my travels.
Okay.
So one thing I always think about when I come back, like, I need to hydrate super fast.
Yes.
Because if I don't hydrate super fast, I'm very dizzy. My jet lag is horrible.
Headaches.
Like, I feel
so
lethargic.
Yeah.
So I always think, like, man, if I could just find someone who could come and just hydrate me for a day, it would be just so helpful.
And you guess what? Not even a day. That's less than an hour. 30
oh
minutes.
My goodness, really?
30 minutes
it
cap.
takes you. And what do? You just it's just a solution.
It's a solution. It depends on your bag and how much you want, and
Okay.
it's good for athletes as well.
Okay.
So they can stay hydrated, and people that has iron deficiencies, any type of vitamin deficiency. So you have all different types of bags you can
What
get.
about if you want to lose weight?
They do have that.
Because I did read that too. It said something like they'll give you, like, I think this lady was doing an appetite suppressant.
Yes, they have everything in there.
I'm like,
it's amazing.
I love
Medicine
it, because
is amazing.
It is, because when I was researching and reading all about you, I was like, this is really interesting. I didn't know you could do all these things.
You can. Yeah, and that's really on an up and up. The IV bars. Yeah.
IV bars. Is that what they're calling them?
IV bars, IV hydration,
Yeah.
IV therapy, home infusion. So it just depends on how you word it, but it's all the same.
Yeah, well, when you start doing that, let me know, because
I will.
I always come back and I'm a mess because I'm just not hydrated.
Yeah,
and it's
like
not that I don't drink water. It's just the whole process of traveling, and then you go pretty far, and you come back and you're in a different time zone. You're not eating like you usually eat. You're not drinking as much water as you usually do. You're going up. The airplane has a different pressure system.
Exactly.
It's just a combination of things. And I always think I need to figure out a way to hydrate, sooner, because it takes me days to start to feel better.
Yeah. You need a vacation from vacation.
Yeah, I do. Oh, my God. You know what? It's been so good talking to you.
Yes, it has been.
I've learned so
Thank you.
much. And if anybody wants to find you, where can they find you?
You can visit our website. It's finestbloodllc.com. You can find us on all social medias. It's #finestbloodllc.
Okay.
And Finest Blood everything.
Right. And her Instagram account is Finest Blood LLC as well. So go and follow her. And I have here that your address is 25003 Pitkin Road.
It is.
It's in Spring.
It's in Spring.
Okay, so that is the brick and mortar where they can come in and see you.
Exactly.
Right. And then if you want to call her and you want to set up something, you can call her at 832-823-5948.
Yes, that's right. Give us a ring.
Your mobile in-home services, the Finest Blood LLC, Janenne Dorsey. Thank you so much for being on my show today.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
I loved it, and I've learned so much. And let's get you going on all those services, because I think that's like the thing that like it's coming. I mean, also I think we are talking about some of the most serious things. Hey, let's talk a little bit about the other stuff as well, right?
Yep.
It's all part of life.
It is the circle of life.
The circle of life. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.